So there's going to be 4 parts of this presentation. For some of you that have seen this before watching, we are doing a little bit different than in the past. There's going to be, the first part is going to be the presentation that we've given throughout the state. The second part is going to be some video of the actual inspection and how that's going to work. And then there's going to be another PowerPoint that we're going to go over different ECS components and what those look like on the different trucks that are out there in use. And then the fourth part is questions and comments from the audience via email or from the audience here. So the people that are here got an information packet that has the recommended test procedures and the details that go with that in draft form, as well as the question and answers that are out on the website. For those of you watching over the web, you can get to those documents on our website at www.smogcheck, all lowercase, all one word, .ca is in California, .gov is in government. So you guys can check that out at your leisure. So the main purpose of these workshops that we've been holding throughout the state is to really go over the test procedures and really work with the industry and try to get their comments on anything that we may have been missing and share with you guys where we're at. So we just have a transparent communication that just allows us to make sure we're rolling out a program that is useful, can reduce emissions, and can be implemented easily. So the agenda, basically this has got a couple of different pieces to it. The first part is an overview of the diesel program. The next part are the actual proposed diesel test procedures. And then we go into the next steps. What does BAR do after this meeting? And then we'll go into the video and all, and then we'll do open discussion time, and as well as the contact information for the people at ARB and BAR will be available. I want to introduce the folks that are here from BAR and ARB. We have, starting over here, we have Tony Dickerson from ARB, Tom Valencia from ARB, John Urkoff from ARB, Mark Duell from BAR over here, and we have Pat Duray, the Deputy Chief, also in the audience, John Wallach from ARB as well. So those are there's a lot of other folks in the room here, but that kind of gives you guys an idea of who's around and who's available. So the overview section is going to have a couple pieces here. It's going to go through what's in the legislative bill, what type of volume we're looking at from the diesel vehicles, how the registration is going to work, what the equipment update will look like, and what technician training will look like. So we'll go ahead and go through those steps here. So Assembly Bill 1488 passed in 2007, and basically it consisted of diesel-powered vehicles being included in the program, 1998 and newer. So we aren't talking about the older stuff. These guys are all OBD2 and that sort of thing. Under 14,000 pounds. So we're not looking at large box trucks and those sorts of things. We're looking at the lighter duty vehicles, so the F-250s, the Chevy 2500s, those type of medium duty or light duty trucks is really what we're focused on here. It's going to be a statewide implementation as far as the diesel inspection goes, meaning that the same test procedure will be applied in the enhanced, basic, partial, enhanced, change of ownership areas. The bill also specified that ARB and BAR would work together to develop the test procedures, and testing will begin January of 2010. So volume estimates. Basically, we'll kind of cut to the chase here, is that you get 540,000 diesel vehicles that will be subject to the program. And the way that kind of breaks out is a little bit different. So for most stations and things, that equates to about 325 inspections that'll be done per year, partly because you have the biennial inspections, which is about half of that 540. Then you have change of ownership inspections and vehicles coming in from out of state, which when you kind of add all that together, you get about 325,000 inspections statewide. So that, when you break all that down, if you're an average station out there, if you consider there's about 7,500 stations statewide, that looks about 2 or 3 vehicles per station per month. So, you know, if you're looking at, you know, what you're going to see and being able to plan for that gives you an idea of the low volume. And we'll get on a little bit later. When we looked at that volume, we really didn't want to be burdensome to stations. So that really played into the way that the ways that we have chosen to roll the program out. So we'll go through it a little bit further as we go along here. So this also gives you a breakout here of the numbers of vehicles. So you can kind of see down here, you got about 10,000 that are under 8,500. So the passenger cars and those sorts of things, the Jettas, the Bugs, those sorts of things, about 10,000 of those. Then you have, trucks. These are your majority of about 400,000 of the trucks sitting there that are kind of in the normal range. Then you got, just a few sitting up here between 10 and 14,000. So these guys are a little bit bigger size of the trucks that are the smaller box trucks and those sorts of things. So Dmv registration. So it's going to work just the same as gasoline does. Basically, renewal notices will be sent out to consumers, and it'll say, smog check required, just like it does for gasoline. The notification will begin January of 2010. And basically, when we say that, just so shops are aware of how this is going to roll out, we're going to begin mailing January of 2010. So DMV has a very specific way that this rolls out. We're going to match that. And so you're looking at the registrations that are really due in April and May is what we'll be sending out in January. So there'll be kind of a trickle-in effect at the beginning of the program, where you guys will maybe see a few diesels at the beginning, and then as you get into it, a month or two into it, you're beginning to see the real bulk of it. So it shouldn't be too many there at the beginning of it. Change of ownerships and initial inspections will begin January 1st of 2010, meaning that if you're going to sell your diesel truck, if you sell it after January 1st of 2010, you have to get that smog check done. So I also want to talk a little bit about, we're looking at revising the ARB periodic smoke inspection program, which is, the fleets. And basically that is vehicles that are 6,000 pounds and greater, that have a fleet of 2 or more vehicles. Those guys, if they're under 14,000 pounds, we are attempting to, or ARB is attempting to move those into the smog check program. So you won't be part of ARB's annual program, you'll actually be part of the biennial smog check program, and that'll be marked on your registration notice. If there are fleet people out there watching, the normal fleet rules that we apply to gasoline will apply to that, meaning that your testing is done on your normal basis once a year and all that sort of stuff. So no big changes there, but there's a big difference with the PSEP program ARB runs. So we'll give you guys more details as we get into regs and things on that in future meetings, and we'll update on the website when we have some final confirmation on all of that. Equipment requirements. So there will be no new equipment required for stations to purchase to do the inspection. So there are a couple of minor caveats to that I want to go through. BAR is going to be contracting with the manufacturers to provide those updates. They'll be out there to install them. BAR is contracting with them, basically paying for all of that part. If you guys have broken, CD drives or whatever they need to load the software with, you will be responsible for those costs, as well as if you need some other thing to make it compatible with your shop or something. We're not requiring any equipment, but there may be some minor costs there, as well as we'll get into training here in a bit. But obviously, any time your technician needs to take the training, those sorts of things will obviously be minor costs to you guys. But the big portion of it, of updating the analyzer and all, BAR is covering the cost of those. The analyzers, we did a lot of testing, and we'll get into that here in a bit again. They will be able to test all the OBD, and all that has been tested. Everything seems to work great on the analyzers. The only thing that isn't going to work, which is similar to gasoline, is that if you have a CAN vehicle, we still aren't testing CAN at this point with the BAR 97 analyzers.